So I'm in the middle of making some soup for my supper. Usually I eat my meal between 2 and 6 because I'm on OMAD. But today I kind of got tangled up in some housework. I did the floors and I did the dusting. I did a little bit of organizing. So I kind of strayed away from my meal. And I really wasn't hungry. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some more soup. I'm going to make some hamburger soup. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm going to fry the hamburger with some onions and some garlic, indeed some black pepper, some garlic powder, some chili pepper and chili powder. So I'm going to throw all those spices together. I'm going to even throw a little bit of oregano in because I want to detoxify my body. And I'm finding that I'm using this castor oil for that detoxification process and it's working. And oregano is another thing that I do now. I can make oregano tea, but I'm going to put it into my hamburger and put it into my soup. It gives a good flavor to the soup and it helps with that detoxification. Now, I wanted to tell you something and I'm going to show you something up close. I had a wart. I had a wart that was right here on my eye. And I was treating it with iodine, and I was very, very careful not to get it near the eye, but it basically was right in this little crevice near my eye. And then I would use the iodine, and I would use the baking soda and put a little bit on, cover it with a Band-Aid. Anyway, there's a video about that a couple of videos back. Unless it was one of the ones I deleted. I'm not sure. Anyway, that was the treatment that I used. And I use it for most of my lesions. And most of my lesions, I did have some melanomas on my forehead that I had done the same process on. And I basically found that they had disappeared. They had disappeared. Now, I did have a melanoma many years ago, and I had it scraped off, and it hasn't been back since. So we'll keep my fingers crossed. And I'm not saying, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying that this is a cure for anything, okay? I'm telling you exactly what I do in my treatment. Anyhow, I was doing that to get rid of the wart that was beside my eye because I've seen, they can get pretty unwieldy. They can get very, very big. So I was using the iodine and the baking soda. And, I did it so often that I forgot about doing it. And I haven't done it for a long time because I never really, I looked in the mirror and I'd been doing it for so long I never even realized that it was even there anymore. And then I looked in the mirror this morning when I was like washing my face. I'm thinking, where the hell, what eye was that on? Anyhow, take a look at this. So it was right there and it's gone. It's gone. So it's gone. I have no, there's a little bit of a bump there, but I think it's I think that's my nose. I just have this classical nose anyway. So yeah, but it's gone. And it's not visually, I'm not able to see it visually. So that's amazing. But what else I've been doing is I've been putting some castor oil on my skin. And I still have a lot of the wrinkles here. And I was a heavy smoker, don't forget, many years ago. But I'm starting to get back my skin. There's a few here that I need to deal with. But this part of my face, after I lost all that weight, it was kind of saggy. And I still have those lines here. But now that I'm using the castor oil and putting it on my face, I'm finding that my skin is tightening. I'm also finding that the skin on my stomach, I don't want to take my clothes off, is, I mean, look at that. I've lost so much weight. I don't know if you can see that. And I have no crepey skin. I'm 63 years old. I've been 200 pounds, I don't know how many times in my life. I just recently lost 75 pounds. I'm doing the OMAD. I'm researching every single thing I put into my mouth. And, I have my times when I do my cheat, when I have my sugars and I have my carbs and I have my trans fats. Yeah, because I'm low income. And so I have to combat that. And, I'm starting to look at my supplements and I'm starting to see that, some of the supplements I was taking were not the greatest. The magnesium I was taking has magnesium stearate in it. And magnesium stearate is basically a soap. It's a soap. And it leaves a biofilm, right? And so I had a stroke. So I had a problem with that clotting, okay, or that blockage. So I'm very aware of that. So I've been pulling away from the B vitamins and I'm doing nutritional yeast and I'm replenishing my stock of nutritional yeast. However, I get off on a tangent. It comes with being old and no one to talk to. So you're it. And I'm trying to give you all the little tidbits that I have witnessed and seen and done, just for your information. Okay, just for your knowledge, just for your curiosity. That's it. So if anybody ever says to you, have you ever heard about castor oil and what it does for the skin? Tell them, yeah, I have. And it's not a bad thing. So I'm finding that my skin is getting tight again, on my face. So I'm good with that. I'm good. Now you have to excuse the noise because they have basically all the green space that we had in the backyard where I live. They have taken and they are building homes there. And then they have also bought, I think it's a long-term care unit, and they're turning that into homes for the homeless, for housing. It's going to housing. So there's a lot of noise in my neighborhood. So my videos will not be very quiet. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do, I have the hamburger in. I'm going to put my spices in. I'm going to put the garlic in, the onion in. I'm going to fry it up. I have purchased the winter vegetables that you can buy, the frozen winter vegetables. And they are amazing. You got to try them. They are so good. I used a half a bag for my last soup that I made, I think 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to use the rest of that half bag in this soup, and it makes a massive pot of soup. And when you're on a budget, you got to look at the simplest way to be able to feed your body, right? And nutritious, and it is nutritious. I have so many vegetables go in that winter, the winter package of the winter vegetables that you buy at the store, pre-packaged, pre-frozen, is the best I can do. It's actually better than the ones that you buy in the natural aisles, where the vegetables are kept, because those ones have got a lot of pesticides. Now, a little tip for getting rid of pesticides is to soak it in baking soda. Baking soda is very alkaline, and it will help to get rid of the pesticides in any fruit or vegetables that you purchase. So I do that when I'm able to buy vegetables or fruit. I soak everything in baking soda. It's why I keep it in abundance in my pantry for those just in case times. I always have a lot of baking soda. It's important. Baking soda and vinegar. I keep a lot of those things. I haven't used the vinegar for a long time, but the baking soda is a have-to in my pantry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the winter vegetables, the pre-frozen ones, I'm going to put that in the big pot. I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm not sure if I have any salsa left, but I have a little bit of spaghetti sauce left. So I'm going to put that in my soup. I might run over to the store and get some more salsa because it's cheap and it packs a good wallop in the soup. I also put in some oxo cubes and water. I fill it right up to the top with water that I have boiled. Because I want to get rid of as many of the chemicals as I can. Now, boiling water will not get rid of the fluoride. It won't get rid of the fluoride. Actually, I read that actually boiling water will actually magnify the fluoride. So just be aware of that, right? Just be aware of that. But I haven't been able to afford the filter that I need to get rid of the other chemicals or to get rid of fluoride in the water. So, yeah. And there is, I want you to look it up though, but I did read in my research that fluoride is actually kind of like a byproduct of pesticides. Yeah, of pesticides. They were finding that they were having so much fluoride that they had to get rid of it. And apparently, what did they do? They put it in our water. Yeah. And, I guess they found that it also stops cavities having fluoride, right? So everybody's kind of running and getting the fluoride treatments, but it's actually an offshoot or a byproduct of pesticides when they first started making pesticides. Now, I'm not really sure what the modern thing is on it, but that's where it came from. So just be aware of that. But anyhow, so I'm going to put it all in the pot with some oxo cubes, beef oxo cubes, which are basically all salt, right? Now, if I had to choose a poison, it wouldn't be sugar, it would be salt. It would be so good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it all together, and I'll show you when I get close to the end. So, and I'm also going to purchase some sour cream. And then when I make the soup, the sour cream is basically a probiotic. And so I'm going to put a dollop of sour cream in with my soup tonight when I have my supper. Now, I am going to be doing, so I'm on OMAD, and usually that's 16 hours worth of fast. Well, I screwed up. I screwed up because I was talking about this in my last video, is that I basically broke my fast because I had cream in my coffee, but I had such a minute amount that I'm not gonna really pay any, never mind, right? So, I'm just going to try to not do it. So to put cinnamon or nutmeg in my coffee instead of cream, because that breaks the fast, right? So tomorrow, there's always tomorrow. So we'll do it tomorrow, right? So now where was I taking this? Oh yeah, so I broke my fast, but normally I have a 16-hour fast. And because I have to make the soup and I have to run to the store to get the sour cream and the other stuff, which I forgot already. Can you believe that? That comes at old age, man. That comes at old age. Anyhow, that's pretty sad. Anyway, I have to get the sour cream. So I'm going to run over and get some sour cream. But normally I do a 16-hour fast, okay? And that's when autophagy comes in, where your body actually starts to eat its own fat. I think it's mitochondria will go around and they'll start, I mean, they're the energy source, so they're looking for food. And if you're not giving them food, they're going to eat whatever's there. And that's when they start eating your fat. That's what you call autophagy, right? So be aware of that. And so my fast is going to be longer than 16 hours, which is good because of the fact that I had cream in my coffee this morning. So every little bit helps, right? So it's going to be maybe by the time I get the soup done, it'll be about a 20-hour fast. It will, because I have to run to the store. I have to fry this up. I still have a cat. You know what? I have to feed the cat. I have to do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to get the soup on. I'm going to run to the store and get the sour cream, which is a probiotic. And we'll see where this takes us. So I'll be back in a little while. So I'm still listening to them with the big machines outside, hammering and thunking, and it's so frustrating. But I guess it's for a good cause. Okay, so I've got the hamburger and the garlic in here. I'm going to put half of the onions and the other half I'm going to leave raw, and then I'll put in with the soup after. But first we're going to cook up the hamburger. So I'm going to put some onions in. I put one whole garlic clove in there. And on top of that, I'm going to put my beef oxo cubes because I don't have any broth. So we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way, you know. I have to kind of crunch it up, and then I'll put some pepper in and some garlic powder, pepper, and red pepper chili flakes I put in. I'm going to put the chili flakes in when I make the soup, like when I put it in the pot, but for now, I'm just going to get my spatula. I'm going to let this cook in here. So the only thing that's in here is garlic. And are you aware that garlic has got a lot of benefits in it, but if you're eating raw garlic, it has to be heated in order for it to actually kind of like exude the benefit, right? So it has to be heated up. And if you hear any jingling, I don't know if you can see him, my cat's somewhere playing with his toys, so, which is a good thing because he was getting very, very lazy. He was kind of getting sedate. Oh, there he is. Can you see it? Can you see? Where's your toys? Oh, you can't see. It's nice to see him playing though, because he was getting kind of lazy. Oh, you can't see him now. Oh well. So we're gonna give this, we're gonna get this frying here. That element's not working very good. I have it on high, and it's not seeming to do anything. Okay, so next thing I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in my pepper. I put black pepper in everything. And I usually use a lot, a lot. And actually, pepper and cayenne powder, pepper, garlic, anything that is kind of like hot, that gives like a hot taste to it. What it does is it kickstarts your brown fat. Were you aware of that? It affects your metabolism, which in turn affects um, the brown fat that you have. That you want more brown fat than you want white fat. And so if you're activating the brown fat's going to get rid of that white fat, right? And that's what we all get around our midriff. So it's just like in a chicken. In the part of the chicken where there would be muscle, okay, where there would be muscle, like where the chicken's legs would be, you would find brown fat because that's where the muscle is. But where the stomach is, like even in a human, where a stomach is, you're going to find more of the white fat, unless of course you're fit. And even if you are fit, you have a semblance of you have some white fat. So whether you're very fit or you're not. So I've got some potatoes boiling here. I have my pot out. I'm just going to try to break this. Those oxo cubes are packed so good. And they are packed with sodium. They are so full of sodium. But when you live on a budget, you got to kind of like, one or the other, right? So these are the ones that I purchased. And let's see. Oh, wait, I have it upside down. So, let's see, there's 12 cubes in here. Whoa, they get a lot of sodium. A lot of sodium. I don't even want to tell you. It's like over 1,000 sodium. So, but I do add a lot of water to it, right? And I put a lot of hot spices in, like the black pepper. I put the chili powder. I put the garlic powder, which I haven't put in yet. So we'll put some garlic powder. So even though I'm using sodium, I am kickstarting that brown fat. So I'm trying. Doing the best I can do with what I've got. Yeah, so that's that. So I got the pepper and I got the garlic. I'm going to skip the salt, but I am going to put my red chili flakes. This definitely will speed up your metabolism, but also kickstarts that brown fat and helps to get rid of the white fat. Yeah. So. It's a wonder they don't tell you about that when they give you medicine to slow your metabolism down, okay? And usually anybody with heart problems, they'll give you medication to slow your system down, to slow your immune system down, to slow your heart rate down, right? And then that same person goes out and eats, Mexican food. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Kind of makes you wonder. That's why it's important to research. Research as much as you can. Okay. So that part is done. Now, I'm waiting for the hamburgers. We're going to take the frozen vegetables. They're my favorite frozen vegetables, right? So all I'm going to do is I only got a little bit left, so I'm going to put it in the big pot here. I'm going to kind of mix it up. I have a few leftovers. I have some green beans left over. I'm going to cut them up and put them in. And then I have the potatoes. And at the point of time during the week when the potatoes are basically the starches are eaten out of, or have been eaten out of the soup, and it kind of gets like just with the broth, I will add like beans, or I will add lentils, something like that, right? So we're just gonna smack them. I wish I had more of them, but that's all I have. Yeah, but these are so good, especially in soups. Like, okay, so here's the other one. And we're gonna open that up, and I'm gonna cut them up with the scissors, and I'm gonna put them in. Now I haven't run over to the store to get the salsa yet. And I can't find my scissors, so Okay, so this has got green beans in it. So I could actually break them. I can't find my scissors, but I can break them. Yeah. I basically just break it into little pieces. That's it. I'm not even sure if I made a video about this. Like if I showed how I make my soups, I'm not even sure, but I make good soups. Like I make good soup. And I don't have any bread. Um, I don't have any bread. I don't have any crackers. I do have dry noodles that I got from the East Indian store. I do have them. So I could actually put them in or use them after, like fill a bowl of soup and put a dollop of sour cream on it, and then, you know, basically just put some crackers or put some of the noodles on, the dry noodles. Okay, so it gives quite a bit, like that's it. It's quite a bit. And that is that. So what I had left over. So those 2 bags, like, you know, and I use the bags because of the fact we're not allowed to have plastic bags anymore. That sometimes you need a plastic bag, and I'm just reusing the ones that I have that, you know, would go to the landfill. So put some chili flakes in there. So I have these. I have to restock them. I do restock my pepper. I have a lot of black pepper. But black pepper, baking soda, paprika, cayenne powder, chili flakes. I bought more chili flakes the other day. So, you know, I keep myself pretty well stocked up on these things. So I don't need any salt. You can also, for added protein, you can put a can of chickpeas in. After you rinse them, you can put a can of chickpeas and you can make chickpea soup. It's a very thick soup. It's almost like it's a pea soup that you buy from the store, and it's expensive. And you could actually use chickpeas. So I do have a lot of chickpeas. That's one of the foods that I use for the just in case, you know, when you're at that point where you don't know if you're going to make it to the next month. Yeah. So I have my chili flakes. I might put some more chili flakes in there though, because I don't have many veg for those. Okay, so beef. It's just hamburger. It's beef, and it's the cheap beef. It's the beef where you can buy. Where I am in Canada, there's a thing called giant tiger, and you can get 3 rolls of hamburger for like, I think it's $11 or $10. You know, and that's what I do. That's what I do. Here. You do what you got to do, you know. So when that's cooked, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to put in some water. I have the potatoes. The potatoes are boiling. I'm going to leave the pepper out and the onions. I'm going to put these onions in there, actually. I'm going to put the onions in now so I don't forget. So that was 2 onions. So one went in with the cooked food, with the hamburger when I'm cooking the hamburger, and the other one is raw, and it went into the raw vegetables, like the frozen veg. And that's it. That's all you do. And after the hamburger is fried, I'm going to put a little bit of water in. This is where I keep my water, but I have to make some more. So I'm going to put a little bit in there. And I do not drain the fat off the hamburger. I don't drain the fat because that's where you get a lot of the stock, right? So Yeah, I don't drain it. So we're going to leave it there. And we're going to let it simmer so that I can get a little bit of the flavor of the fat. I'm going to open. Now, I want to run over and get some salsa. However, I do have spaghetti sauce. And I was thinking I could kind of like substitute the salsa for maybe a couple of tablespoons of spaghetti sauce, and that'll help give it that flavor. Because, you know, I got a few bills that are coming out right now, and I'm not really sure if I have enough money to run over and get the salsa. Mind you, salsa is $4 at the dollar store, and if I can find the change in my purse, I will run over and I will do that. But at this point, I'm going to take some, maybe a couple of spoons of this, maybe even, I think 4 tablespoons is a quarter of the can. So I might do that. You do what you got to do. I mean, I can't complain. I'm not going to starve. And I'm not starving now. I mean, you know, I'm still trying to lose. I'm maintaining my weight. Like I'm not losing anymore. I'm at 130. I'm not losing anymore. And there's times that the scale will go up if I'm eating a lot of carbs. And I know exactly when I am eating those carbs because that scale will go up a couple of pounds. So my body actually tells me, like, whoa, back off, right? Okay, so this I'm going to put in with the frozen vegetables. I'm going to put maybe a quarter. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, so about half of this spaghetti sauce. And we'll put the rest in a glass container in the fridge for the next time. So I've got all these little tiny mason jars. So I'm just going to pour it in there. Yeah. You know, I remember one time, I don't know why I remember this, but I remember my mom making bread in, you used to be able to get like ketchup in the big tins like this. And I remember my mom washing the tin, and they have those ridges on the inside. And I remember my mom washing the tin and making homemade bread. And I don't know if she didn't have like a you know, the pan to bake the bread pan to bake the bread in. I don't know if she didn't have it, but I remember her using the big, large tomato tin with all the ridges on the inside, and she baked the bread in the oven. And you know what? When the bread came out, it was so good, but she was able to cut it on those ridges, and so she was able to slice it. It was actually pretty good, but I think, you know, you'd have to be careful of aluminum, right? I mean, we're talking back in the 60s. No, 70s, in the 70s. Okay, so let's see. That is going to be good. That is going to be good. I don't think I'm going to need the salsa. The salsa kind of gives it a bit of a sweet taste, you know? But if I can dig together $4, I'll put some salsa in there to give it a little bit of sweet kick. This is all the salsa I have left from having my tuna melts last night, so let's not waste it. Okay, so there, I put some water in it. Now that's what you call the height of being cheap. Just shake it all up and get it all out and put it in there. Simple as that. I do have to boil some water, so that's okay. So today I needed a haircut because my hair is very, very curly and kind of goes bushy, right? Now I wanted to grow it longer, but I wanted to grow longer so it's even, right? Like the first cut I had. So I went online and I found a thing called the butterfly cut. Now the last time I did the wolf cut. So this time I did the butterfly cut, and it's so easy to do, and I did it, and I like it. I like the way it turned out. I can part my hair to the side, I can part it down the middle, I can, like, it's perfect, it's perfect. And I can still even get it in a ponytail. So, you know, I'm kind of like going toward that. What look is that? That's like the hippie look, right? you know, the 60s look, the bell bottoms and, you know, the hippie love beads and all that stuff. I'm kind of leaning in that direction. I like that style. I like that style. It was a time in the world when things weren't so focused on financial prowess, where they weren't focused on having the most beautiful car. I mean, hell, back in those days, they would buy a beat up old Volkswagen, which is what I want. I want a Volkswagen, a little tiny Volkswagen bug, just like Herbie the Bug. Remember Herbie the Love Bug? Back in those days, we would have little Herbie the Love Bug, and we would put, like, you know, peace signs on it and stuff like that. And that's how we lived. Things were simpler. Things were simpler, and there wasn't. My cat's coming to say hello. I don't know if you can see him. Anyway, so things were simpler, and we were happier. It's almost like when we didn't have a lot of prowess, when we didn't have a lot of extra funds, we were the happiest. We would sit out on the hill and, have a pint of beer with our friends and look at the stars and, play the guitar and sing songs. And that was what life was all about. Now, the push, there's such a push to be the best at everything, to be the richest, to be the prettiest, to be the sexiest, to be, you know what? I'm 63 years old. I'm damn lucky if I get out of bed in the morning. And, putting on a little bit of makeup, that makes me feel good about myself. But I don't do it for somebody else. I do it for me. And these videos, I only do them because, you know what? It's freaking lonely. It's freaking lonely being 63, especially, I mean, I'm divorced. I'm single. I don't plan on ever going that route again. So yeah, these videos are kind of keep my mind active and kind of let me see that, you know what, yeah, my life is worth living. I'm worthy, and anybody out there who's up in age, you're worthy. And like, it's just part of the program, right? Yeah, so I've been finding that I've been kind of like straying toward the old-fashioned type of cars, the old-fashioned type of dress. I mean, look at what I'm wearing. I'll have to stand back. So I got this. Uh, I got this from a junk store. I got this from, like, I think it was a Salvation Army, and it just, it just reminds me. I'm not going to model, but it kind of reminds me of the past. And I have a couple of dresses, the long flowing maxi dresses, and I'm going to wear them this summer. I have a few of them. And I do still want to lose a little bit of weight, right? So we're gonna get on that. We're gonna see how that's gonna go. But okay, so the potatoes are almost done. We gotta get a fork. Do you know how to tell if a potato's done? If you stick the fork in and the fork comes out clean, it's done. Those potatoes are done. Mm, they're good. Okay, so remember these? I need a metal one. I need a metal one. So we're gonna put that there. The soup's almost done. The soup took like, what, 10 minutes? Okay. It's hot. It's hot. Okay. Potatoes are done. Now, you cannot beat this. And a little something that's going to give a little bit of zest to it. So I do buy the sauerkraut, the barrel fermented sauerkraut. And this is as natural as it gets. And I like even the glass bottle itself is barrel. So this is the best kind to buy. And I've researched it. I did a video on it, so you can check back to see. But I'm going to put some of this in. And that is another probiotic. So this meal is going to be full of probiotics. There. So I put about a quarter of a cup. About a quarter of a cup in there. This, after you open it, put in the fridge. Okay, so I've got sauerkraut in here too. Oh, this is going to be so good. I mean, if you're low budget, I mean, corn, a can of corn, like corn is inflammatory, so you'll swell up and stuff like that. You'll get bloated and gas, but corn, you could throw some corn in there and the corn will add to the flavor, right? So there's so many different things you can do with the soup, especially when you're low budget. And like I said, that's what I am. So you do what you got to do. Okay, so now we're gonna give it a little bit of a try here. I still have to get the sour cream. I do want some sour cream, so let's try it. Oh, oh my God. Mm, that is so good. That is so good. Mm, that whole pot, that will last me like a couple of weeks, right? Even if I have 2 bowls a night, that gives me, uh, let's see, these mason jars. This pot will give me like 6 of these mason jars, if not more, full of soup. And you know, if you run out of potatoes, if you run out of the ingredients that are in the soup and you just have the broth left, you can add to it. You can cook up some beans. You can put in some kidney beans. You can put in some um, chick beans. You can put in some lentils, right? So it's not wasted at all. You can just continue to add to it, right? And in the old days, back in the 50s and 60s, that's what they did. When they ran out of one particular, like if all the potatoes were eaten out of the soup, they would put rice in. And that's another thing you can put in your soup. You can put rice, you can put lentils, you can put anything to get. It's almost like a filler. I had to tell you something that I found out. Wait, back in the day, did you know that they used to put sawdust, sawdust, in the bread as a filler? And that's the truth. No, no word of a lie. Look it up. So I'll see you on the next video. The good Lord be willing. I'm going to go enjoy this bowl of soup. See ya.